You could describe this man as being hot, okay, like sure, I'll believe you, but also I don't find a lot of men attractive. Books that made me cry because I was so distraught. Manacled. Yeah, Manacled, okay. Like if I read this book as a teenager, he would have been on my walls. Like I would have put him in my walls. Hey. Hey y'all. It has been a minute since I've sat in front of this camera. I don't really know how to explain it. I think I just let myself get into a slump of my own doing. I feel so awkward, oh my god. But it's okay, because I have missed making videos so much. I've missed being on the YouTube game. I've missed editing even, which is crazy because that's my least favorite part of this whole process. Actually, that's not true. Editing is not bad. It's making a thumbnail. That's my thing. Okay. Anyway, I feel like I look crazy. I don't know guys. I don't know what's going on. I'm having like imposter syndrome and body dysmorphia like all at once. Whatever, it's fine. Okay, literally I'm gonna relax. I'm here today to do the mid-year book freakout tag. I did this last year and I had a lot of fun with it. It's a great way to like reflect on the first half of the year and just talk about all the books that I've read, talk about my most disappointing reads, my most anticipated reads to come, books that I want to read by the end of the year, any and all. Okay, we're here to talk about books today and I'm really excited because I love talking about the things that I read. Because I read a lot of really good stuff, okay? I just love reading. I love it so much. I do have a fan on because it's summer and I don't have an AC. I also have the crispiest Coke Zero known to man, so I can relax, I guess. I don't know. I actually got this just to put a little caffeine in myself just in case I needed it. Okay, I am just the tiniest bit all over the place because it has been a couple weeks since I sat down in front of the camera. So just bear with me. I really appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I've missed you. I really have. I've missed you a lot. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's talk about let's go through the tag. Let's go through the mid-year book year. The mid-year book freakout tag, the mid-year freakout book tag, the tag book mid-year freakout, I don't know, whatever. Okay, so I have read 47 books so far this year, which I think for some people sounds like a lot. For me, I should definitely be at 50 at least by now. My goal is 130 because last year I read 125, so I thought, oh, I'm gonna up that by 5 because the year before I upped it by 5 and I met that goal, so I thought, okay, I'm gonna up it by 5 again. I don't know how that's gonna go. I might not reach my goal this year, or I might end up doing what I did like 2 years ago and just read a bunch of manga novels on December 30th to reach the goal, okay? Whatever ends up happening, you'll find out if you keep watching these videos because I will keep you updated. So the first question in this freakout tag, okay, this mid-year book freakout tag, is the best book you've read so far this year. This was really hard because I've read a lot of fine books, like very, 4 stars, maybe 5 stars because the ending was just so good. But there's only been like a few books that have just like gripped my entire soul, okay? 5-star books for the sake of being so well read and so well written and the story captivating, the characters eating me up. I mean, just all of it. I don't feel like I've had like the greatest reading year this year, even though I feel like I have read a lot of 5-star books. I don't know. So this is in no particular order because I would not be able to order these, but I'm gonna start off with my most recent 5-star read, which was Spinning Silver from Naomi Novik. It's almost like a retelling of Rumpelstiltskin in a way. That's how I felt about it. There are a lot of different characters in this book. I don't even think I've talked about it yet on my channel because I did not do a reading wrap up from last month. So we're gonna talk about it now a little bit, I guess. So we have our main character, Miriam. She has just kind of taken control of her family. She's taken over the family business. They are, I don't know how you say it. They're not debt collectors. Her father is someone who has money and he gives out money, like he loans money. He's a loaner, I think that's what it's called. He loans out money and then he's very bad about taking the steps that it takes to get that money back. Like he doesn't want to inconvenience his neighbors. He doesn't want to seem like selfish or money hungry or anything like that. So he's just like, you know what, you guys get back to me when you want to get back to me. Well, their family's starting to fall apart. Okay, they have no money, they have no food, and Miriam is like, all right, fine, I'm gonna start doing my dad's job. I'm gonna start doing his job for him, okay? And so she starts listing everything, she's like the master of Excel, if Excel was a thing in this really cool fantasy novel land. She starts making a list of everyone who's ever borrowed from them, how much they borrowed, what they have left to pay back, and all this stuff. She cuts deals with them. Okay, I understand you can't give me this money, but what if you give me a piglet from your new batch of piglets that have just been born? And then she uses the pig to go to the market and do something with it. You know what I mean? Like, she's very, very savvy. She's very good with her money, and she's very good at just like spinning silver, if you will. Okay, what that means is she's very good at converting her coins. So you have bronze coins. She works to convert them into silver coins. She works to convert those silver coins into gold coins. Eventually, there are these fantastical creatures. I can't remember what they're called off the top of my head, but they come out of the woodwork to basically not exactly capture her, but they strike a deal with her, and she takes the deal, and she ends up having to leave her family and go live with this new king in this kingdom. Okay, there are a lot of characters in the book. The book is so well written because each chapter is a different person's point of view, but you don't know who it is. It just suddenly starts in first person, and then you have to keep reading the chapter to understand, okay, we're talking about the girl who takes over Miriam's job after Miriam goes off to live with the king. Okay, now we're talking about her brother, and this is the story of this, and this is like how the story is progressing as a whole. It was just so well mapped, so well thought out. I had such a great time reading it, and I'm talking too much about this because I have so many books to get through, so let me get on. Okay, the next one I would say would be Babel, I keep mispronouncing it, Babel from R.F. Kuang. This was such a great novel about the necessity of violence when it comes to rebellion and revolution, and it's just such an important thing to remember, okay, for me especially. It reads like a history book, and I love that. I almost said textbook. It's so funny because I put off reading this for a long time because so many people sold it to me as, oh, this reads like a textbook, it's very dense, like reader beware, you know, but no, it doesn't. It literally reads like a history book. It's it's an arcane history, if you will, of Babel at Oxford University, which is a fictional set of courses that you could take as a student at Oxford. Or is it fiction? I don't know. You'll have to read the book to find out. I had such a great time reading it. I wrote it up. I can't wait to reread it, honestly. And it's just such a testament to R.F. Kuang's genius and how good she is at writing a book and compiling a book and researching for a book. She's such a well-read person, and she's so smart, and you can just tell it when you read her books. Next best book, I gotta say it, it's gonna be Manacled from Sen Lin Yu. Guys, this has been a Dramini year for me. Okay, I finally gave in to my urges of reading fan fiction, something that I love to do as a teenager, and I finally given back into it this year wholeheartedly, 100%. My favorite so far that I've ever read has been Manacled. It's just, I don't know how to even like explain it to you. Just if you know anything about the fanfiction world, this is a fanfiction set between set between Draco and Hermione. Okay, their ship name is Dramini. It's a very, very adult novel. It's very dark, very difficult to read and get through because it's just so sad. It's honestly the most depressing thing I've ever read in my life, and it's just also the most genius thing I've ever read in my life. I will rue the day that I read this again because it will just be so hard to do it because I want to and I have to and I would love to, but it's just going to be a terrible time for me when I reread this book. Okay, and then the last best book I want to talk about that I've read this year is going to be To Poison a King from S.G. Prince. This was so fun, and I don't see anybody talking about it. I need y'all to read this book, okay? If you have Kindle Unlimited, if you like romantasy, if you like fantasy in any way, this is such a good one. Seriously, it's so fun. So we have our main character. Her mother is like the healer for the king, so she lives in the king's palace. She's just the daughter, and she's kind of like learning her mom's trade, and her mother convinces her to poison the prince, okay? The prince doesn't end up dying, and the mother flees. So the girl, our main character, she's like, oh my god, like what do I do now? I don't know how to like finish him off, and I don't even understand like why my mom is gone. So without really wanting to, she ends up becoming the healer anyway because she's the only one who can kind of take her mom's spot, and she has to try to heal the prince because he's very embarrassed by his new disability that he has. He's unable to walk due to the poison that she gave him when he was younger. It's just like this whole thing. They end up falling in love, but like also not really, because how could they be in love? He's a prince, she's just the healer that works at the castle, you know? If anything, she's just a commoner. I just loved their story so much, you guys. Like it was just the most fun thing to read. It's on Kindle Unlimited. Like I said, I don't know how more people aren't reading this. I seriously don't. As of today, it barely has 500 reviews on Goodreads. It only has 2,000 ratings. It's underrated, honestly. You guys should read it if you are the fans of those tropes in any way, or that story sounded interesting in any way, you should definitely read it, okay? Okay, second question is best sequel / series continuation you've read so far this year. I'm only going to talk about one. I've read plenty of series continuation, I've read plenty of sequels this year, but I am here to talk about the Lunar Chronicles, and I want you to count how many times I say the Lunar Chronicles in this video, because as I was writing out all of the answers to these questions, I was like, oh wait, I've said this too many times. I've wrote the Lunar Chronicles out way too many times. I wonder how many times I'm going to say it in the video. So that's up to you to find out. I can't do that right now. But the Lunar Chronicles, it comprises of the books of Cinder, Scarlet, Cress, Winter, and Fairest. Fairest is like the little novella about the Wicked Queen. And it was very important to read that part of the book, I think, because you get so much more of her story going forward. But anyway, the Lunar Chronicles, it is like a dystopian YA sci-fi series that is also a retelling of our favorite princesses, our favorite fairy tale characters. So Cinder is about Cinderella. She is half cyborg, and she finds out that she is of a very important inheritance in a way. Like, she comes from royalty in the Lunar Valley, in the lunar world, okay, on the moon. They live on the moon. I don't know. I'm very bad at explaining things, I swear. Okay, anyways, so there's Queen Lavanna, who is currently the queen of the Lunars, and then there's the people on Earth. People on Earth are dying from this mysterious disease, and Cinder finds out here in this first book that she has just been meant for so much more. She's destined for so much more greatness than her little half cyborg brain ever thought she could. We get into the second book, which is Scarlet's story. That's like Little Red Riding Hood, okay? She meets the bioengineered wolf, who is an alpha of the lunar people. Okay, he's part of like the guard, the official military of the Lunar, and they fall in love. We have our third book, Cress, which is a play on Rapunzel. She is locked away into a space tower. She is the most tech-savvy person you've ever met in your life. And then we finally get to the fourth book, Winter, which is Snow White. And Snow White is the stepdaughter of Queen Lavanna. There's so much found family in these books. Like, the whole series is this grand adventure of them coming to these new characters and losing characters over here, and then they meet the character over here, and there's just so much adventure that happens in all of these books. I loved reading it so much. I wish I had read it when I was like 10, 11, 12 years old. It would have become my entire personality. So maybe it's good that I didn't. But reading it now as an adult, like, I still had just such a great time. I think that these are wonderful books. Anyone who loves fantasy of any kind should read them if you are a fairy tale girly like me. I'm getting a little ahead of myself here, but Marissa Meyer was introduced to me this year, and just mwah, I love the Lunar Chronicles so much. It's definitely the best series I've read, the best sequels I've read, best third, fourth, novella, like whatever, I don't care. So far this year, the Lunar Chronicles takes the freaking cake. Question number 3 is new release you haven't read yet but want to. First, I have The House of My Mother from Sherry Frankie. I've talked about this book a little bit on my channel. This is the story of the daughter of Ruby Frankie, who has been prolific true crime case that's been really big for the last like 2 or 3 years. Sherry here was part of a Mormon mommy family vlogger on YouTube. They had a YouTube channel that their mom ran, and this is just the story of like the demise of their family and how crazy Ruby got. I'm honestly so intrigued in reading this. First and foremost, it is a memoir and it's a nonfiction. It's the only one that I'm interested in right now. I'm just not a nonfiction kind of person. But I'm very interested in seeing what she has to say, because the crimes of Ruby Frankie really escalated after Sherry grew up and left the family. A lot of the really horrific crimes that she was accused and found guilty of happened to the younger children. So this book isn't even full of that information. It's just full of Sherry's story as the oldest daughter in Ruby Frankie's household. And I'm so intrigued. I was very, very wrapped up in the court case and the true crimeness of it all, and I'm excited to read her story. Next, I know, literally cancel me. I want you to cancel me, because I have not read Sunrise on the Reaping from Suzanne Collins yet. I don't know what's wrong with me. I think honestly, I really want to make a video. Like, I would love to make a reading vlog of this and just like give a full spoilery, here's my reaction to reading this freaking book. So that's probably why I haven't read it yet, but also I have free will and I could just do whatever I want at the end of the day. And it's not like I've been filming like crazy the last couple of weeks, so I don't know what's holding me back. I think I'm just too scared at the end of the day. This is Haymitch's story, and if you've read The Hunger Games in any way, you know how depressing this is gonna get. You know the pain I'm gonna go through while reading this, and I don't think I'm ready to bring that upon myself yet, so I need to read this. I will read this by the end of the year because it will be crazy to enter 2026 and still dodging spoilers left and right. Anytime I watch a YouTube video from any book talk or booktuber that I like, I just have to skip so much because everyone's been reading this book except for me. I've been missing out, so I need to find out what happens. Okay, and then the final book that has come out this year that I need to read is going to be The Starving Saints. This is from Caitlin Starling. I actually have it like on hold at the library, so I'll get it hopefully within the month, I would think. On Goodreads, it reads, a transfixing fever dream of medieval horror following 3 women in a besieged castle that descends ravenously into madness under the spell of mysterious godlike visitors. So it's basically this castle is coming apart, falling apart, every like food is scarce, everyone is like trying to fend for themselves, but then these godlike people come, okay, these saints, I guess you could say, and there's 3 women who are the main characters, and they kind of see like the evil beyond the people who have come to save them. I expect a little religious trauma to come out of this book. I expect a horror element in this book. I'm also looking forward to really good writing because I think that the synopsis here is written really well, and it's like absolutely what sold me on this book. It's also labeled as a queer book, and that makes me excited for sure. I don't know, I'm getting like gothic, religious, like castle, like I don't know, it just like it reads like something I would want to read for sure, and I've been waiting to get that copy from the library. And so yeah, that's the last one on this prompt. Question number 4 is most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I love talking about books that are about to come out. Okay, so really quick, there are 3 books coming out this year. This is crazy. 3 books coming out this year, all within like a 3-month span as well, that were original Dramini fan fictions, like being traditionally published. I didn't know that was a thing that we could do, but I guess it is. I am just like learning so much about like the publishing industry and books and like how authors start. Like this year has just been so transformative and so full of information for me of like how publishing works, and I've just really been so grateful to be part of it and understanding and learning so much. So we have Rose in Chains from Julie Soto. This is an adaptation of The Auction, which is Hermione fanfiction, like I keep saying, which I have not read yet. Basically, Draco buys Hermione at an auction. I don't really know what to expect. I read the author's other books in this series for like the fanfiction world. Their name is Love's Bidka 8. I did not like the first 2 books in that series. It's like the Right and Wrong series, whatever. This is like a reimagining of the world that happened in the first 2 books where Draco buys Hermione at an auction. I don't know. Next, we have The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy from Bridget Knightley. This is an adaptation of Draco Malfoy and the mortifying ordeal of falling in love. I've heard that this is the second greatest Hermione fanfiction of all time. Like, we can talk about the first one in a minute, but this is like the feel-good, happily ever after, amazingly, wonderfully written Hermione fanfiction that everyone loves and adores. So I am very excited to read first the fanfiction and then of course the traditionally published version. I hope it's good. I don't know, the like cover, it just looks a little too cutesy. I don't know. I really don't know what to expect. I love this cover so much, and this one is just like not giving what I wanted it to, but that's okay. And then the final Hermione traditionally published fanfiction that's coming out is going to be Alchemized from Sinlin Yu. This is based on Mana Cold, which we've already talked about so much on this channel, and this is considered, I mean, from the spaces that I am part of, this is considered the best of all time. This is like the horrifying, dark, depressing, best, most greatest well-written novel, fanfiction, Hermione, Harry Potter, like whatever of all time. And then Draco Malfoy in the mortifying ordeal of falling in love is considered like the second best, the happily ever after version of the best. So those are 3 Hermione fanfictions that I'm excited to get into, that I have to first read the source material and then I get to read the traditionally published. Okay, but that aside, those books aside, because next we have A Theory of Dreaming from Ava Reed. This is the second book in the Study in Drowning series. I have so many copies of A Study in Drowning, like I keep coming across signed copies and I can't say no to a signed Ava Reed book. I literally am looking at 2 hardcovers over here. I have 1 paperback and I have another one up here that's not signed, but yeah, just A Study in Drowning, I can't wait to reread it to prepare for A Theory of Dreaming. Apparently this one's gonna be really sad and I'm excited to get into it and get back into the world of these characters. Which brings us into the next most anticipated read for the last half of the year, which is going to be An Archive of Romance, which is a novella for this whole era. So we have our main characters, Effie and Preston, I believe is his name, and they write a lot of letters to each other. There's this very important history / fairy tale book in this world that she's created that has kind of just everyone lives by the words of this book, and so she wrote a little novella that contains stories that are mentioned in the first 2 books in A Study in Drowning and A Theory of Dreaming, and that's what An Archive of Romance is. So it's just like correspondence between the 2 characters, any extra little bits, there's lots of illustrations. It's just going to be like a fun little supplement novel to the world that she's created with A Study in Drowning, and I'm excited to read that. Okay, you guys already know we're going to talk about, listen, apparently it's pronounced Catabasis. I thought it was Catabasis. I kind of wish it was Catabasis because it sounds like I'm saying Calabasas, but it's Catabasis from R.F. Kuang. This is a dark academia, rivals to lovers. I think it's to lovers. They're at least rivals, I know that, of these 2 people who enter into hell and go through the 9 circles of hell to save an old professor to get like a work recommendation from him or something, which I think is funny. Listen, I have heard only one person talk about this book, and they did not have a positive experience reading it. They said that they felt it was boring. It's just regurgitating Dante's Inferno and the 9 circles of hell. There's nothing like extra to the writing like we see in Babel, which is also by her, where there's just so much supplemental information as well as like fictionalized information. It seems more like she just kind of regurgitated Dante's Inferno and then added this little like dark academia, rivals to lovers subplot to it. I don't know. I don't care. I really don't care because I love anything that R.F. Kuang will write, and so I really hope this is good. If not, it's fine. I'll still love her, but I'm excited to find out. Okay, and then we have 2 other sequels slash series continuations, which I'm so excited to get to. We have Every Spiral of Fate from Tahira Mafi. This is the 4th book in this Woven Kingdom series. When I tell you guys, this series, I can't wait to reread it all because I read the 3 books, like there were 3 books out last year, and I read them all over a weekend, and they've been living in my mind rent-free ever since that weekend on a random like August day. Every Spiral of Fate is the 4th book in the series, and I just need the series to continue. Okay, it's been the slowest burn of all time. There's like 4 love interests. I'm just eating it up. I love it so much. I love the main character. It's like a Persian mythology adaptation. I don't know how to even explain it, but she is like discovering her power, and there's all these people coming at her with all this information, and then there's people from her past who are trying to like, oh, I don't even know. There's like the prince. It's just, I really need to reread them, and I'm really excited to reread them to prepare for the 4th book that's coming out. I hope the series is like 10 books. I don't care because it's been such a slow burn. It's crazy because from the events of the 1st book till the end of the 3rd book, it spans like a week, like maybe 9 days at most. So it's just been so slow within the fastest time period ever. And I just love how she writes that. I think that's so cool. Okay, and then the final book that I'm super excited to read in the last half of the year is going to be The Dragon Wakes with Thunder from KX Song. It is book 2 in the duology for The Night Ends with Fire. I'm not quite sure what the duology is called. I don't think it's called The Night Ends with Fire duology, but I have been just dying to get my hands on it because this book was so freaking good. My favorite book. I think I read it last year. Maybe I read it at the beginning of this year. I don't quite remember. I think it was last year though. But it's a Mulan retelling that just has so many twists and turns that is so good. Like, you had me at Mulan retelling. You didn't need to add anything else extra to that, but you did, and you did it amazingly, Miss Ma'am. And I follow her on Instagram, and her writing techniques and like her writing discipline, her writing discipline is just insane. Like, she will constantly update how long she's been writing and how many hours she's wrote today. Like, she just loves to like update on her little Instagram stories, like any information about her writing to like keep her fans interested, and I am so interested. So please keep it up, Miss Ma'am. I love to see you progress like in your writing. But she just writes all day. Like, she literally writes like she's writing out of time. She's Miss Alexander Hamilton to me. And it's like, the book's already done. The book is done. The book is coming out. So what else is she writing? I don't know, because it's just supposed to be a duology. So I know she's already working on other books, and she's an amazing writer. The way that she crafted this story just makes me so excited for anything else that's coming out, especially the sequel to this book. Ooh, okay. Question number 5, biggest disappointments. I'm going to keep this pretty easy. I have 2 here. The Lives of Mortals from Mallory Weber. Guys, I'm sorry. I tried. This is actually the most recent book I finished. No, the second most recent book I just finished. I downloaded it on my Kindle from Kindle Unlimited the day it came out. It came out like last month, 2 months ago, something like that. And I downloaded it because I follow a book bookstagrammer, a book Instagram creator who had raved and raved about how good this book was. And I've never really taken recommendations from them. We seem to read kind of the same things, but they were just like raving about this book day in and day out until they finished it. And then even after they finished it, they were still raving about it. So I was like, okay, I gotta see what this is. It's a debut fantasy novel. It has to do with the Fae. And I followed the author on Instagram. I think that her Instagram page is really well curated. She works really well on promoting her book and everything, and I love to see that. But the book, I gave it 2 stars, and it's simply because I did not enjoy a single moment of the book. Okay, that's a little bit of a lie. I will say the first maybe 10-15% were very enjoyable. We have our main character. I don't remember anyone's names. You guys know that here. She is a warrior, okay? She wants to work for the king's guard. She wants to be a soldier, okay? The king has a competition every year for anyone to come up and fight tournament style to find out who will be the best, who will then enter the king's guard, okay? She ends up winning the competition. She wins the tournament. One thing that they do at the end of the tournament is that the person who wins the tournament will get to fight the prince, okay, the king's son. And it's just kind of like a hee hee ha ha, because the prince is actually like the greatest fighter of all time, and like no one's ever beaten him ever in those series of ever, okay? But she does end up beating him, and the prince has a hard time with that fact. He ends up trying to hurt her that night by sending some men to her room to hurt her. Nothing ends up happening to her because she suddenly exerts this big burst of light that scares them away and hurts them, like, you know, knocks them out, pushes them away. She's like, oh my god, I have some weird magical power. What the heck is going on? She runs away and she crosses the veil, which then leads her to the Fae world, okay? And then from there, it's just ACOTAR. Like, it's literally A Court of Thorns and Roses regurgitated. The whole entire book is. And what that doesn't necessarily piss me off, because the thing that bothered me so badly about this book is that we get introduced to the male main character right away. As soon as she crosses the veil, he's like, hey girl. Like, he's literally waiting behind the bushes like, I've been waiting for you. I smelled you from far away. Hey girl. He's right there to like be in her life immediately, okay? And then from there, that's like, you know, 15% of the way through the book. From there, from the 15% mark, it is all about this man. And what's the man's name? His name is Niall. Okay? His name is Niall, and I'm supposed to fall in love with him along with the main female character? I don't think so. I really don't think so. Like, the whole story was about them. Like, it was about their relationship and why are they so drawn to each other? I don't know. Have you ever read ACOTAR? Maybe you can figure it out. Clearly, this author has read ACOTAR and was very inspired by it. And I don't hate that. Maybe I do. I do just hate that. I don't know, guys. I tried to like this book so much, but I felt like I knew nothing about our female character. I knew nothing about this girl. All I knew were the feelings that she had for this man. And for 800 pages, that's all we find out. I mean, granted, okay, there is a whole mystery about a prophecy that is to come, and we find out how she's related to that prophecy. Okay, boom. You know, case closed. We figured that out. What now? Oh, now we got to talk about the boy again. We got to figure stuff out about the boy. We got to hang out with the boy again. I feel like she had no motivations. I feel like she had no goals. She had no personality. Like, I knew so much more about Niall than I ever knew about our main character, and we're in her head. So unfortunately, The Lives of Mortals was really disappointing to me. I wanted to like it so badly. I felt like the marketing for it was done really beautifully. It just wasn't for me. And then another disappointment that I had was the Twisted series, specifically the first book, Twisted Love. This is from Anna Huang. Sorry, my nose is red. I just blew my nose. I got these books recommended to me from Book Talk, so I always take those with a grain of salt, but I constantly, time and over again, saw these names popping up of like, oh, he's the best book boyfriend. He's the best book husband. Like, best book boy ever. Like, this boy's the best. This boy's the best. Like, these names over and over and over. So I was like, okay, you know what? If it's happening this often, they have to be right. Like, they've got to be right about something. So let me give the series a try. I honestly don't even want to continue it anymore. It's like a group of 5 girls. Each book is like their story of finding love. We have our first main character, and she falls in love with her brother's best friend. And then in the second book, it's about another girl in the group, but she falls in love with her bodyguard because she's like the princess of this fictionalized country in Europe. And then I don't know what the next book is going to be. I don't know who's going to fall in love with who, but I'm just I don't think that the writing is very good. I was very disappointed with the characterization of the men. I just had this thought that I would just be looking up to them in some way, right? Like I would want my man to maybe start acting like this based on how boyfriend material these books were. No, absolutely not. These men are they're extremely toxic. The only reason they're hot is surface level. Like, you could describe this man as being hot. Okay, like sure, I'll believe you, but also I don't find a lot of men attractive. The Twisted series was just disappointing. I just expected more from it. I really did, based on how the hype was around them. Okay, question number 6, the biggest surprise. The first book I read this year was Heartless from Marissa Meyer. I had to pick it up. Oh my god. This is a retelling of The Red Queen. And I literally don't even want to tell you that, okay? Because I went into this book completely blind. I had no idea what it was about. All I knew is that it was on my TBR and I downloaded it for a plane flight that I had. I read it the whole flight. I bawled the whole book. It was just so good and so well written, and the ending literally had me by the throat. Like, it is just, I didn't expect it. I literally was just like, oh, little fantasy read. Like, I don't know what it's about. Like, I'm not gonna read the synopsis before I get on the plane. I'll just download it. It's whatever. I needed to get off the plane. Like, I had so much energy to exert after reading that book. I was sitting next to my boyfriend after reading it. I told him the entire plot. I told him the entire story. And when we got off the plane, we had an Uber ride back home with 2 of our friends, and I told our friends that story too. So like, my boyfriend heard it twice. I've heard it 3 times by now. I couldn't wait to get it out of me how good this book was. It surprised me. Really, it did. It's the definition of the biggest surprise of the year, and it was the first book I read this year. Another book that really surprised me was The Blood Over Brighthaven from M.L. Wang. I just had no expectations. Literally, the only thing I ever knew about it was that it has a high rating on Goodreads, and I put it on my TBR. You know, maybe a creator that I really liked the book, and I was just like, yeah, okay, I'll add it. Like, she says it's great. I trust her. And then I saw that it had a really high rating with a lot of reviews, and I was like, okay, maybe I should check it out. Didn't know anything about the book. It surprised me so much. And it's not even just like the context of the book, it's the end of the book that surprised me, because I really didn't think that the author had the guts to do what she did and ending this book the way that she did. But she knew what she had to do, and she delivered, you guys. She delivered so well. The end of this book is just, I mean, I cried so hard reading it. It was so beautiful. We have our main character who enters into this spell academy. Women are like not allowed to be in the spell academy, so she already has that going against her. Her male classmates assign her the janitor as her little scribe. What's it called? Assistant. The word is assistant. Okay. So they like play a trick on her and assign the janitor as her assistant. The janitor comes from a world that has been blighted, and our main character just basically has to learn and unlearn everything that she's been taught about these people who aren't like her. So memorable, and just literally the only way she could have ended the book to be as perfect as it was. And I'm so glad that she took that risk, because I loved it. Okay, question number 7 is new favorite author, and I literally just wrote down the authors that wrote the 2 books that I just talked about, okay? I'm just going to narrow it down and say that Marissa Meyer takes the cake on that, because while Heartless was so surprising, I knew that going into the Lunar Chronicles, I'm going to get into another fairy tale retelling. And just the way that she combined all their stories, like, I feel like this is a story I've had in my head for my whole life, of like these characters coming together, these fairy tale stories convolging into one thing, and she just did it so expertly and so well done. I can't wait to read anything else that Marissa Meyer comes up with. I hope she keeps retelling fairy tales, even if she just tells the same one. Like, retell Snow White again, I don't care, do it again. Retell Red Riding Hood again, I don't care. You can make it a totally different kind of story. I just think that she is so well read and like just good with her craft. And yeah, I'm just going to answer that one with just Marissa Meyer, honestly, because she truly has been my favorite this year. That's like a name that I keep saying in my head over and over again: Marissa Meyer, Marissa Meyer, Marissa Meyer. Question number 8 is new fictional crush, and at first this was really hard for me to narrow down. I don't know why. I did put Johnny Kavanaugh from Binding 13. I find his personality and everything like really attractive. Like, if I read this book as a teenager, he would have been on my walls. Like, I would have put him in my walls. I would be drawing pictures of him. I might be signing my name Miss Emma Kavanaugh. I don't know. But I wouldn't say that he's like my favorite. He's just someone that, like, an honorable mention. We'll say he's an honorable mention, okay? Next newest fictional crush we have is Captain Thorne from Cress. Technically, he's in Cress and Winter, of course. He's Rapunzel's counterpart, okay? Rapunzel's love interest. And I just loved him so much. I loved him so much. Okay, Captain Thorne is very reminiscent of the love interest in Tangled. Okay, he's like a scallion. He's a runaway. He's wanted. He's wanted by me. He's so suave and smooth, and he's like a ladies' man, but he truly like holds all his love for Cress, who is Rapunzel. And I just, oh my god. I loved his banter. I loved his wit and his humor. And Cress is such a like isolated person. Like, she's been locked up in a tower her whole life. Okay, like she is very socially awkward and she doesn't know how to handle social situations. Whereas we have like the most charismatic man in the world as her counterpart. Like, I just ate it up. Okay. Next, I wrote down Thawmill, I don't know, from Blood Over Brighthaven. He was hot. Okay, he is like the ultimate new fictional crush for me because he's like actually hot. Like, he's big and bad and he's here to destroy things that need to be destroyed, and I fucking love that. And he was just like a man, like a real man, okay? And I love that so much. So Thawmill, however you say his name, he definitely he's number one. He's number one of the year so far. And then I also wrote down Wendell from Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. He's like her work rival. I don't know. I think he's a fairy too. I didn't quite understand. Like, the first like 15% of Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies like went over my head. It didn't take until after that when I actually really started going into the book. So I don't quite remember how he's introduced. I'm so sorry. I know I'm a terrible reader. But Wendell, like, his wit and his humor and his charm is just the same as Captain Thorne. I just ate it up. I love it so much. And I think he's super cute, and like the way that he likes Emily a lot, you can tell is just like, he's so adorable. But she's like so wrapped up in her work, she doesn't even notice it. But he's like constantly vying for her affection, and I love that. I totally forgot to mention this, but I wanted to add Miriam to my newest fictional crushes list as well. This list is majority men for some weird reason, and I totally meant to add Miriam to the list, and I thought about it right before I started filming. I just didn't write it down. So add Miriam from Spinning Silver to my newest fictional crush list as well. I'm about to talk to her about her in my newest favorite character question, which I'm about to get to in just a minute, but just know that Miriam is also a crush, okay? Okay, we have newest favorite character. I'm gonna talk about the Lunar Chronicles again, guys, because I put Cress, who's Rapunzel. I also put Cinderella, okay? The way these characters come together is just so beautiful, and like Cinderella was my favorite Disney movie, Disney princess growing up, and to see her reimagined as this very kind and inclusive and sensitive, half cyborg, half human, who's also like royalty maybe in some way. It was just so complex, and the way that Marissa Meyer delved into her characterization and navigated her characterization was just charming. Like, I just really ate it up and I really loved it. And then Cress was my favorite just because I related the most to her. I do think that Cinder's character was written so much better and had so much more opportunity than Cress's did. So they're just my favorites. I just really love them. And then I also wrote down Miriam from Spinning Silver that we talked about earlier, from Naomi Novik. She's just cool. Like, she's just the coolest little girl ever. Like, coolest, baddest bitch, okay? She knows what she needs to do to survive. She doesn't care who she has to step on to do it. She's demanding and authoritative and strong. I really looked up to her as a character. Okay, question number 10 is hard because it's book that made you cry. Joke's on you. Newsflash. I cry at every book, unfortunately. So I categorized this into two parts. I put A, sadness, and B, happiness. So did I cry out of sadness or crying out of happiness? So out of sadness, like books that made me cry because I was so distraught. Manacled. Yeah, Manacled, okay. And then I did put Blood Over Brighthaven as sadness as well, just because that ending like gutted me. It gutted me. It was a very satisfying and promising ending, but it's still just like hurt my heart to read it in a way because of everything that our characters had gone through, and it felt so deserving of the story to end it that way, but it still like hurt a little bit. And then out of happiness, I cried during He Who Drowned the World because I was so full of emotion reading that book, and then finishing it and finding out like what historical moment that this book actually leads to, and how true that historical moment actually was to the fictionalization of this book. I screamed. I was screaming reading this book. It was so good. I love our main character so much. Zoo, I believe is her name. Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started. And then of course I cried of happiness during the Lunar Chronicles. I did. I cried during every book, I'm pretty sure, except for Cinder. I didn't cry during Cinder, but I'm pretty sure I cried during every other book because it was just like so full of magic and beautiful writing, and I just had a great time. Okay, question 11. The book that made you happy, and the first one I wrote was The Lunar Chronicles. How many times have I said it so far? I hope someone's counting out there. The Lunar Chronicles made me so happy. It fueled every notion of the childhood little girl inside me. It made me feel so inspired to write myself. I think that Marissa Meyer's writing is, it's just really good. I was very happy with He Who Drowned the World, like I just described a moment ago. I was very happy with To Poison a King because I felt like I found a gem. I literally felt like I found a rare gem that no one else has discovered yet, and I need more people to read this book. And then I also felt really happy during Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies. It felt like a book I've been searching for a long time. I read a lot of fae books, I read a lot of fairy books, Seelie, Unseelie Kingdom, like that is kind of one of my favorite fantasy species to get into. And this one felt so authentic. Like she's literally creating an encyclopedia of fairies. She's learning about fairies, and there are many footnotes within the book. The book reads kind of like her field journal as she's like creating this encyclopedia, and there's just so much information about fairies, and the adventure that she goes on is so great, and I'm just really excited to keep reading the series, honestly. Question number 12 is most beautiful book you've purchased this year. Hold on. Okay, I interpreted that one just a tiny bit differently, because the one that takes the cake is going to be A Treachery of Swans from A.B. Poranek. This is the author of Where the Dark Stands Still, which was the book I read last year that also has a gorgeous cover. Let's just take a moment. I'm sorry, why is there a glare? I hate the glare. Like, are you fucking kidding me? So I think it's a retelling of Swan Lake. It's a gay retelling of Swan Lake, and I'm really excited to get into it. And I'm also very scared because I walked into Barnes & Noble last week to go pick up another book that I ended up not picking up because they didn't have a paperback version of it. And I saw this there and I was like, wait, this book's not supposed to come out, but maybe it came out like last week and I missed it. No, it still says on Goodreads that this book doesn't come out for 4 more days. I've had this in my house for like a week. Why do I have a copy of this? Where did this come from? It's not supposed to be published yet, but I do, I guess, whatever. I am so excited to read this, and it absolutely takes the cake on the most beautiful cover of a book that I purchased this year. But I also decided to talk about Swords Point. This was another book that I picked up last week. This looks so classically fantastical. Like it looks like the kind of fantasy books you'd find like for $1/4 a piece at a yard sale. I'm really obsessed with it. I love the feel of it and like the size of it. It's been on my mind since I've seen this cover, okay? And then another interesting cover that I picked up, actually I shouldn't say interesting, it's terrifying. This cover scares me really bad. It's gonna be The Little Friend from Donna Tartt. Yeah, look at that and then go to sleep. See if you get nightmares. I'm too scared to read this book because Donna Tartt is an amazing author, and this is supposed to be about a really terrible crime that happens to a child, and like the mystery, I think that the child's sister grows up and then tries to find out, like, figure out the mystery of how her brother died. I don't quite remember, but this is scary. This is a really scary book. Or at least it looks like it will be. Okay, and then the final question number 13, is what books do you need to read before the end of the year? I have a whole list. I have a whole pile right here. I wrote books down, and then I decided to look at my Goodreads and see how many I actually had in my TBR. I have 530 books in my TBR on Goodreads. I don't know how I'm gonna read as many books as I need to do before I die. I really don't know how I'm gonna end up doing that. I also don't know why I picked such a big stack to talk about this here at the end. So I do have The Will of the Many from James Islington on my like hold from the Libby app. So I'm excited to read that because it's got a really high rating. A lot of people like it. I hear it's like a dark academia literary novel. I'm not too sure what it's about, but I'm ready to understand the hype. I have to read The Auction from Love's Bitka 8, and I have to read Draco Malfoy and the horrifying ordeal of falling in love before the traditionally published adaptations come out of those stories. And then I also wrote down The Night and the Moth from Rachel Gillig. I just think this cover, like, it's got me by the balls. I don't know what it is. I didn't really like her Two Twisted Crowns series, I'll be completely honest, but this cover really, it was actually the book that I went into the bookstore for when I got Treachery of Swans, but I wanted it in paperback. I don't really want to read the hardcover, so I'll just wait for that one to come out, I guess. So those books aside, here are my physical TBR books that I need to read. So I haven't read Bunny yet. I would love to read this, and I know I'm gonna like it. That's the thing, is that I know I'm gonna like it. It's kind of like a dark academia, female sorority kind of book. I don't know what to expect out of it. I picked up Vita Nostra from the bookstore the other day. This one just interests me a little bit. It's by a former actress and a former psychiatrist who were born in Ukraine, lived in Russia, and now they live in the United States. This is translated from Russian, I believe. It says, while vacationing at the beach with her mother, teenage Sasha meets the mysterious Faret and finds herself powerless to refuse when the unusual, vaguely sinister man directs her to perform a task with potentially scandalous consequences. He rewards her with a strange golden coin. And then from there, she kind of just uncovers this other world. It sounds super cool, and it's like a really popular novel as well. I recently picked up For the Wolf. This is about a girl whose older sister, I believe she's the older sister, has been promised to the prince or the king, but then she has been promised to the wolf. And what does that mean? I don't know, but I'm excited to find out. The first daughter is for the throne. The second daughter is for the wolf. Drenched in atmosphere with sharp and biting prose, Witten's For the Wolf is a glorious journey through woods deep and so very dark. A stunning debut. I feel like I've heard a lot of good things about this, and it really sold me. Okay, I need to read this book. I need to read this book. We Used to Live Here from Marcus Kelweir, about two homeowners whose lives are turned upside down when the house's previous residents unexpectedly visit. It's labeled as a horror, it's labeled as a thriller, it sounds scary, it's gonna become a movie. I hope it's actually good. I also have Graveyard Shift from ML Rio. I read If We Were Villains last year. Gutted me, absolutely gutted. And this is like a little novella that she came out with after. She has her next book coming out this year, Hot Wax, and I would just love to get all of her books under my belt. Okay, and then finally, I gotta know what's up with Samantha Shannon. This is the second time I've borrowed this book from the library. I have yet to crack it open, and it's actually due in 10 days. I'm so annoying. I need to know what she's about. Okay, The Bone Season is apparently a series that I've heard is so good, and Priory of the Orange Tree. The Priory of the Orange Tree. Come on. I hear it's fantastic. And I want to know what she's about. Okay, so I bought this book and I borrowed this book, and we'll just see. We'll just see. Okay, so that's it. That is the mid-year book freakout tag from me, Amaru. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm so glad to be back here, and I hope that I can get this video edited pretty quickly and get it out to you pretty quickly, because I want to keep making videos and I miss making videos. Thanks for letting me take a little couple weeks off. I hope you guys are here to stay. Thank you so much for watching this video. Truly, if you are a returning subscriber and you're coming back to watch another video, thank you so much for clicking on this video. You guys mean the world to me. If you are new to this channel, consider subscribing so you don't miss any book or movie content that I make in the future. If you like this video, give it a like. Don't forget to follow me on all my social media in the description box below. I have recently tagged my Twitter account and my TikTok account. I'm scared to let people know about those things, but they're just there in the description. Whatever, you don't have to follow them if you don't want to. But if you want to connect with me on other social media platforms that I post on regularly, I would definitely suggest Instagram is the one to go. That's the one I post on nearly daily. And then the others, just whatever, if it's something that you use, I'm on there too. And yeah, that's all I have to say. So I will see you in the next one. Mwah. Bye!